Ukraine in just a minute, but I want to get here to the United States in studio with us now. CNN national security analyst Steve Hall and CNN counterterrorism analyst Phil Mudd. Thank you both for joining. Steve, I'm going to start with you because the Russian losses are piling up. As Isa was reeling them off, there are thousands of troops potentially dead or injured. You were shaking your head, and the number of people who are, still trying to get out. The sinking of that Moskva, the failure to take the capital of Kyiv. Now Putin is claiming that Russia has liberated Mariupol. He has to find something to sell, some sort of win to give to the Russian people. Are they buying it, though, is the question.
At the very least, Don, I think Putin has to walk away with at least the Donbass and perhaps sort of that southern swath if he's going to be able to convince the Russian people that he had a significant victory. Of course, he went in saying he was going to take over the whole country, remember, and now, of course, it's been whittled back significantly, and that's a propaganda problem for him. Now, he does control 99% of all the information that Russians consume, so that helps him a little bit. But eventually, these truths start to accumulate. What he's lost, the fact that they've had to destroy to 98% the entire city of Mariupol. These things are going to get through, the dead young Russian soldiers. So it's going to be harder and harder for him to convince Russians that this whole endeavor was really worth it in the end.
Phil, you just heard Steve. He just said Putin has an iron grip on what his people hear. But the sinking of the Moskva might prove hard to suppress. The New York Times is reporting a network of families of missing sons starting to speak out now. One father who says his 19-year-old son was serving as a cook on the Moskva told the Times this, and I quote, "The more we write, the harder it will be for them to remain silent about what is happening." So he collected the names of 15 soldiers who were missing, 14 of them conscripts. How problematic, or is it problematic at this point for Putin?
But I am not too optimistic. You're looking at Russia and pretending that it's a situation that's fundamentally different than even what we might have seen in the United States, Don. It is, because, as Steve mentioned, the Russian government controls almost all the media. But let me give you two instances in this country where people were misled. Let's go way back. Vietnam War, body bags. People were told for years that body bags meant victory. That was a failure. Let's go fast forward to Afghanistan. For years we said we're winning, we're winning, we're winning. We persuaded ourselves we were winning. That was never the case. So I'm saying that even in an open society, if you repeat a message again and again, people will believe it. Think about a closed society where there aren't alternative avenues like CNN for people to listen to, and you want to tell me that Vladimir Putin can't control a message? I don't buy it, Don. I don't buy it.
Ukraine's military intelligence on Wednesday released purported communications intercept of Russian armed forces referring to an alleged order to kill Ukrainian prisoners of war in the city of Popasna in the eastern region of Luhansk. Listen to this.
Что я могу сказать? Для Чандера, старшего среди них оставить, остальных отпустить навсегда, я с вами. Навсегда отпустить, чтобы больше никогда никто не видел, включая родные.
Steve, I need to point out that CNN cannot vouch for the authenticity of the recording, but what do you think when you hear that? Let them go forever?
First of all, it amazes me that the Russians are actually speaking in the clear like this. I mean, this is horrific discipline. And the SBU, the Ukrainian intelligence service, has become very good at picking this stuff up and then using that. But the stuff that we're hearing, is just it's horrific. First of all, it's not really a professional military when you think about it. I mean, military, soldiers in the West are trained to go after military targets, not to go after civilians, not to kill unnecessarily. And we're hearing the exact opposite out of the Russian troops that are currently active in Ukraine. So it's shocking on a bunch of different levels, really.
Phil, I want to get your reaction because you hear those intercepted communications. You see the satellite images of the mass graves and the terror that unfolded surrounding Ukraine. How will these Russians be brought to justice? How does that happen? Will they be brought to justice?
Well, I mean, if you look at the war in Bosnia, there is a prospect that there will be people in leadership positions that will be brought to justice. But the concern, of course, is that those leadership positions tell an 18 or a 20-year-old that what they're doing is appropriate. Steve is dead on. This says a lot about how the Russian military is operating. In a professional situation, an 18 or 20-year-old is going to say, the enemy is a horrible, maybe person, but maybe a horrible animal. Unless they're led by leadership to say, in wartime you can attack a military target, but we don't characterize the adversary as animals. This tells you what the Russian leadership is all about. It's a corrupt leadership that tells youth that it's appropriate to think of somebody as an expendable animal. It's incredible, Don.
Phil, Steve, thank you both very much.